Hi, this is Dr. Thomas Rocco from CBD Health Podcast. Today's guest is Justin Frandson. He is part of EMFRocks.com, something I knew nothing about. It's about the electromagnetic field that's around us, and it's best to try to repel, especially with all these new electronics that we're buying. So Justin, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and speaking with me on CBD Health Podcast today. How are you, Justin?
Great, Dr. Thomas. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for speaking with me.
Yeah,
I do stuff on CBD health and a lot of medical marijuana stuff and topics, but this is something totally different. And I'm really interested in, and I'm going to just start with this. I know what is it? It's EMFRocks.com. And it's to kind of help repel EMF. And EMF is electromagnetic fields, right? That's what we're trying to repel those exposures. So I really don't know anything about this, but I did search about EMF, and there was a journal of microscopy and ultrasound from 2017. It talks about all the deleterious effects of EMF exposure and about antioxidant, defense systems are not working as well. So this I thought was a great idea to talk about.
It is. It's the hot topic right now to date, and probably the number one invisible stressor that our bodies are facing.
Like when you talk about EMF, again, electromagnetic fields, like where is it coming from?
Well, there's two different types of EMFs. One that we think of as native EMFs that we're born with, or scalar waves, or waveforms that distribute equally in every direction, that the universe is made with and we're made with, and it's how we communicate, and everything has a resonance. That's an unpolarized resonance that distributes equally in every direction. Now, the man-made electromagnetic fields or frequencies are all one-directional waveforms, so they wouldn't work. So there's a huge difference in how they're made, compared to how we're made and the universe is made.
So when you talk about the harmful effects from this, in terms of helping ourselves use or get less exposure, this is what you're all about. And this helps us then feel better and perform better physically and mentally.
Well, yeah, it's not as much about the exposure. We're in the game of converting a waveform. That's what Mother Nature does. So if we just blocked everything, we couldn't really coexist with this man-made waveform, 5G or whatever bandwidth they throw at us. What we're doing is we're converting that one directional into something that distributes equally, that's more unpolarized, that our bodies accept and really benefit from. So that's a game with nature that we're playing. And so I look to nature to do that. And that's where the grounding bags came from.
Right. And then how long have you been involved with this type of treatment with these grounding bags?
Yeah, so I started in the health space as an athleticism performance coach about 25 years ago. Started at a Scripps clinic in La Jolla, working with amateur and professional athletes and doing sensory motor nerve work for sports performance. And I saw this increased wave of man-made EMF prolificating our world, and then having proximity to our bodies that we'd never seen with wearables, and then sitting on big batteries, driving electric cars. So never really seen that before growing up. And so now it was this whole new waveform. So I started diving into it about a decade ago, and found a doctor using these same crystals to treat his patients successfully. I was doing at another system. And so he called me, he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm doing this." Like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm using these." Like, "Those are way better than mine." He's like, "I know." So that's where it ended up going. And that's, how we got the grounding bags going. And we started selling them at doctor clinics all around the country.
Are you based out of California? I was actually in La Jolla about a couple of months ago for the first time. Beautiful. Right on the water, just gorgeous.
Yeah, so I'm actually a little north of there. I'm in Orange County in Newport Beach, Laguna Beach area.
So the company's based in California, and you are selling, I'm assuming, throughout the country. Is
right, yeah.
Mainly found on online sites or in stores as well?
Both, yeah. We sell direct to consumer online, a lot through these podcasts and through doctors as well in their actual clinics. So doctors are the biggest reseller of our products for us. And then we do direct to consumer online at emfrocks.com or athleticism.com. Dr. MDs like Tom Cowan will sell them through his site. And then a bunch of chiros as well, like Alphabetic, Bearlando, alphabetic.com will sell them through their site.
So in terms of using the rocks, how do you use them? Are they with you all the time or just in certain times of the day?
Yeah, great question. We use them as is. So we literally keep them sealed. They have moisture and magnetic properties inside them. So you got to keep them sealed. So we deploy them as is. You have it on your bed. This would be a full size. So you'd have it on your bed and then you'll sleep better than you've ever slept. Because if your bed's touching the wall, it's charged at the level of the outlet. So it drops that low level EMF. You also want one on your desk and then on a car seat or underneath the back of your car seat is really great because there's lots of EMF in all the new cars. And especially if you have a Tesla, you'll need a 6 or 7 together underneath the back of the driver's seat or behind the back of the driver's seat to clear that battery. If there's solar on a home, you need 7 together. If it's just a normal home, you put 5 of these together on the floor and they kick off a resonance to convert that waveform.
Wow. And do these work forever or do you have to replace them, every so often?
Yeah, so they have an expiration because they're alive. They're considered more of a wet crystal, even though they're not wet to touch. They've been compressed. They're called a colloid crystal. So they have a moisture content with the magnetic. So when they lose their form, which is like a solid, about 1 pound of crystals inside here, and turn to dust, which can be anywhere from 2 to 10 years, you have to replace them. The minis, some people will forget and they're in their pocket because this is for a pocket purse or backpack for the kids for on-the-go protection. So you carry this one with you everywhere. If it goes through the wash, you got to replace it because the crystals are a clay-like substance. So if they get wet, they turn to clay. If they get overheated, they'll dry out. So that's why we deploy them like this.
And when you get the bags, does it have an expiration date on it? Like just to give you, remind you when to change them?
No, you got to just feel it. You just feel it. And if it feels like more powdery, then
I got you.
Sprinkle them in your garden. You'll have the most nutrient dense minerals for your garden. And then just buy another bag.
I just have I'm in my truck. I would say an hour to 2 hours. Yesterday was Sunday. I was in it like, I think 6 hours. My V8 with my big, battery in my, Chevy Silverado. I definitely need one of those in my truck because I'm in it constantly.
Yeah. Well, what year is it?
It's a 2016.
Yeah, that's not as bad as the newer ones. I mean, the brand new ones are so EMF'd out. Anything before 16 to about there is where they hadn't increased the signals as strong as they are now. When I started making these Faraday bags, these things, so you put a cell phone in it, the phone wouldn't ring, and now it just burns right through it. It can go through 7 millimeters of a static bag.
Wow.
So now we use 2 of them. So I had to make I started with the bigger one. Then I had to make a smaller one to fit in it to double up in it.
Right.
And the new phone still can find your location through 14 millimeters of static. It's unbelievable.
Well, think about like a phone, like how much EMF is coming from a cell phone that's always on. I mean, my phone's like in bed with me when I'm sleeping. Like I'm assuming if I have my rocks in my bed, I should take my phone off the bed to be, have less of this problems with EMF. Is that true?
Yeah, definitely. You want to develop and establish proximity protocols to man-made EMF. So do you have to answer phone calls? Is that why it's on? So what we would do is 2 things. I would get the buffering down. So I'd have you put it in here and seal it. It'll save the life of your battery and it'll still ring in through here. But if you muscle test it for the applied kinesiology guys, you test strong with it sealed inside the Faraday bag. But it'll still ring. So we want to lower the signal. Because what happens is if you have this technology on you, your brain tries to figure out what's pinging it. Because these things are always looking for someone to communicate with it. So that's why they're so-called smart devices. They're always on looking for something. So that's the amount of signal strength is 2.45 billion waves per second. when you're sleeping, Dr. Thomas, you're at 1 or below 1 to 8 hertz or waves per second. So it's 10 zeros faster than how you sleep. And in one direction, it's polarizing. It's like someone tapping you on your shoulder saying, hey, talk to me all night long. That's essentially what it does. So the crystals will help convert the waveform. But if it's a phone right next to you, it's like having a router in your bed. You still want to lower that bandwidth so it's not as strong directly on you.
Now, people that should use this, is there certain symptoms that they're looking to treat, or is it just an overall feeling better? Like, who's the person that I should say, talk to Justin about this?
Someone who has sleep challenges, I mean, is number one. If they're not sleeping, they're not recovering, their hormones are off, their body's starting to break down, you got to look at sleep as a number one. You'll sleep 3 to 50% better with a grounding bag in your bed. Now, if someone is compromised and they got sick, it's really challenging to heal fast, or if at all, when your body's decharged. So if someone's fighting, some form of disease in their body, you got to recharge your eyes, your teeth, your thymus, your stomach. You got to get grounded by nature, get outside, go barefoot, lay down on a blanket, have a picnic, touch a tree, get into any body of water outside, get grounded. And then when you're inside, you can use these as a self-home care program. You can actually, it's an applied kinesiology technique. You can tap on the bags while you cover your eyes, then your teeth, and then your thymus. And you do that for about 20 seconds. But they act like a homeopathic tincture. When you activate the molecules, it starts to activate the crystals, and you pull that negative ionic charge, you pull those electrons to recharge your body battery, because essentially that's what our body is. We have a negative charge coming up from the earth. We have a positive charge, unpolarized, coming from the sun. And then we breathe in these minerals, these, that's where our microbiome diversity comes from, is getting in different climates. And we get a lot from food as well, but a lot of it's from the air. So we want to really recharge our body battery by getting in nature. And if you're not in nature, you got to use these, and it's an amazing solution at home.
I mean, I have a high school student, male, and if he's not at school, he's in front of a device. I should stick like one of these in every one of his pockets, and that might make him feel better. I mean, so when people are using this, how quickly do you feel like it's helping? Is it immediate or does it take time?
No, it's quite significantly right away for a lot of people, especially people that are in tune with energy and can feel energy. When you tap on it, it's a subtle detox. Like literally, you're clearing your biofield of any stuck radiation, nuclear or whatever it is, and then you're actually recharging that battery. So you'll see your energy go up to 10 times the amount. So you can 10x your energy right away. So it's significant. You'll feel the deeper night's sleep right away. So these are the pillars that you'll feel. And it's not just a bag of crystals. It literally has intelligence from Mother Nature. And they have these magnetic resonances that they're known to be Tesla crystals. So like shungite, amethyst, black tourmaline, they all have these properties to help with this magnetic resonance. Now ours has that with the moisture, so it makes it significantly stronger for repelling man-made EMF. Right.
I mean, as we're getting more electronic, I think this should be part of, you should have, like, if you buy a cell phone, this comes with it. Or, you know what I'm saying?
I love it.
Because there's so much going on. I actually what I want to try to do is I do a couple of things, and I have like a group of people that we work with, and we're by computers all day with the patients. We're indoors, everything that we're going to get a lot of EMF exposure. I should just get one for everybody to stick in their pocket and just see how it works. See if our efficiency comes better. Are we happier? Do we, feel better about ourselves?
That would be great. Let's get you some rocks. And
I'm telling you, it's not a bad idea. What's the downfall to it? Nothing, right? There's no side effects to it.
Yeah, you can't get enough good. And then the other thing, because you're the big CBD guy, like literally these supplements and these tinctures and this plant medicine, literally the healing resonance of the frequency of those plants, they can get hit by this EMF too. So it really helps keep those types of products charged. So their efficacy, they're super strong. So when you start to take them, you feel the results from them.
No, I totally agree. Like everything, there's no magic pill. Even taking CBD to feel better, you want to feel better, but you want to be more active and make your body physically and mentally feel better. And then this could be another addition to the treatment, is using this as well. The more things you do, the better you get, the better potential of feeling better. Like you said, reading about the exposure, it makes you more fatigued, gives you headaches, your cognitive impairment, you don't learn as well when this is all happening. And I'm going to be honest with you, when I'm working, by the end of the day, my brain is fried from just dealing with the computer. And I'm sure EMF has something to do with it, because you're around this all day long, all these electronics.
Well, yeah, I have to give you props for wearing the corded earbuds. I mean, that's the first step. The wireless ones, those are, inner ear challenges with localized radiation. It's an airway canal directly to your brain. You don't want that localized millimeter wave directly going in there. So, but I think as far as productivity and in the corporate world and in business professional world, it is so important, because if you're zapping someone's cognitive ability, because the first signs of EMF stuff are all cognitive focus, energy, fatigue, anxiety, behavioral challenges, headaches, this stress, lack of sleep, like all these things are all cognitive related. And those are just the first steps. When you can buffer that, you're going to have more energy throughout the day, make better decisions, have better communication, because you're not going to be as on edge. I mean, the benefits from these on a desk in an office situation are phenomenal.
Like you said, you don't need them when you're outside. If you can't get outside, that's what this is for. And that's what do we tell our, I have 4 children, get outside, stop sitting in the house. But they're all glued to some kind of electronic device. Well,
and that's the era that we're being tricked into living in. It's this meta universe. It's a fake universe. We want people to really get back to knowing how they feel without looking at a watch and going, oh, how many steps did I take today? How did I sleep? No. Listen to your body and know how you feel and get outside. I guarantee you, you're going to have so much more clarity and energy and vitality and feel better when you're outside walking, just doing something outside versus sitting in front of a computer or router, YouTube, watching Instagram, whatever. Okay, if you have to do it for a set period of time and then turn the thing off and get outside. That develop these protocols where when you're not using this thing, it's on airplane mode. Or if you're using it, it's in a Faraday bag. I mean, literally start to establish protocols. Turn your lights off at night before you go to bed. Create an environment where your circadian rhythm starts to get in rhythm with. So you're not staring at a blue light from a screen or the lighting of LED lights. Convert a smart meter on a home, which is a 2-way router. It's an automated gas and electric meter that just sends where you are, what you're doing all day long. Like, convert that back to analog. Put your routers on timers so they turn off when you're going to sleep. Or hardwire your house. Even better, it's faster, it's safer, it's more reliable. There's less health challenges with it as well. So you have all these benefits of establishing proximity protocols in your world.
Now, like for me as a doctor, there's always a prescription, there's a dose for these EMF rocks. Is there a certain amount you need with you, like in bed? Is an easy way to figure that out?
Yeah, so it's 1 grounding bag on your bed or underneath your bed. If it's under, it's got to be touching the leg of the bed. And then 5 together to clear 2,000 square feet on a floor of your home, centrally located. A tile floor is really great underneath a cabinet in a bathroom, because a lot of people have metal pipes running through the house. The EMF creates a vibration. So if you can put in there, it'll quiet the vibration throughout the whole house. If there's solar, you need 7 together. And then you want one on a desk, you want one on a car seat or underneath the back of it, and as we shared before. And if it's a electric car, which there is no health book in the history of health books that says sitting on a massive battery is good for you.
Right.
So stay with your truck, and
Right.
that is where we need to be. We can't go to this electric world. It's a different resonance. It'll chip away at our fertility. Fertility is the biggest thing. Cancer, suicide, diabetes, Alzheimer's, cardiovascular, all those spiked when we started introducing electricity into our world. You know, diabetes kind of took the cake because of the GMO food and it riddled with glyphosate. It's been destroying people. And then the food industry started making everything through palm oil, like pure saturated oil. And that was the main product. And all the major food industries are doing it and using that. So they've kind of crushed our health in that way. But health is not eating crappy food and modified food. Health is not sitting on a battery. There's no health book that says sitting on a massive battery.
Right.
So we got to get back to understanding these industries are, and I parallel the, you know, the ag and then the food industry with the telecom and the auto industry. There's no way that they're selling these things for our benefit. We got to rise above it and just really have our voice and say no to this technology. We're going to stay with our, you know, gas cars, because the fossil fuels they use in a battery are arguably more than for gas. I mean, you're mining coal and cadmium, you're doing it in other countries. Then you're zapping yourself, and then you're filling up our landfills with acid and dead batteries. Like, it's not a net zero in any way, shape, or form. And it's worse for our body.
Right. So the company's going well?
Yes.
Really? That's great.
Yeah, we're one of the biggest natural EMF protection products sold across the country.
Wow. Now, the terms of the rocks, is this something that it's from California or some other part of the country that you get these from, obtain them from?
Yes. Yes, we hand mine them in the Western US. So they're hand mined in USA.
And then in terms of the price, is it expensive? Or is it like if you needed to change it, say every so many months, is it something that automatically comes to your house, or is it something you have to keep buying as you need it?
Well, this is the beauty of the products. We retail them for $139.99, and you can actually add them and build as you need to. So as far as EMF protection, most of them are, you know, 800 to 2000 for a man-made device attempting to keep up with man-made signals, which is a futile effort. These are $139.99, and you can buy as many as you need at a time, and then just keep adding and step them up. Because if you buy, let's say your budget's 6 or 7. So if you have, let's say 7, because every house will need 7, husband and wife, and 1 child at least. Right. So those 2 beds, and then 5 together to clear their 2,000 square foot home approximately. 7 bags. When they feel they need more, you add another bag. You know, and so that's the simple thing. And then
like you said, when it decomposes, you throw it in the garden and you replace it with a new bag. And everything's organic. I mean, there's nothing bad about it.
The purest minerals you'll ever find for us. Yeah, so from our mine, we're going to roll out toothpaste with these minerals and mineral water. We already have Soil Force on athleticism.com to help people grow their food. And they're just the minerals we use from these mines. Actually, the Soil Force is white montmorillonite. So it's a little different stone, but it's literally the purest form. Like bentonite clay is 8 to 30% pure. Ours is 85+% pure white montmorillonite. You won't find that anywhere else. So the purity of our stones, that we hand mine them, how we deploy them, is why they work so well.
Now it seems like this all started to help improve athletes. That's what I'm assuming by your background, in that you're a performance coach. Is that where this all started?
Exactly. It all started seeing guys break down. I see the most strongest, fittest endurance athlete, their whole arm would go weak from a wearable watch. And I'm going, get that radiation off your wrist. And all of a sudden his arm gets better. I didn't even have to do anything to him. It was just get the stressor off. It's the easiest fix in the world. Like, let's clear the stressor. The body will just self-regulate and start to heal. We don't have to do anything. So that's, for me, it's like, okay, let's identify these stressors. So you have emotional, biochemical, and physical. And so emotional would be thoughts, feelings, emotions, stress, biochemical, food, drink, air. And EMF was the one that no one was looking at that I saw was becoming the biggest invisible stressor.
Right.
You know, and physical would be too much exercise, too little, or a big trauma. So those are the three ways that the nervous system can decharge. And I just saw it biochemically. And then the fascia would break down. It destructures your water, dehydrates you. I mean, this is, the oxygen gets less at 2.45, billion waves per second. That's when everything starts to change. And it's really challenging because you look at the formulation for water, it's H2O. Like if you start to change that formula, it's not a good thing. If oxygen is O2, like if it becomes O1, we all die. Like, you can't breathe. Like, this is basic science. And physiology and biology. And a lot of people, it's like, woo, they haven't taken those classes. So they're just going, oh yeah, let's just start bathing in the stuff. But there's this really cool book called The Invisible Rainbow by Arthur Furstenberg. I want you to read it if you haven't. It categorizes the history of electricity and light. The Invisible Rainbow by Arthur Furstenberg.
Okay, I got it.
It goes back to telegraph years in the late 1850s on, when people started getting electromagnetic challenges from telegraphs. And then 1918, the Spanish flu. Guess what? Everyone got sick. There wasn't a virus flying around to kill people. We polluted our environment with radio waves. And then World War II, we had radar, and then satellites in the Van Allen belt for the Hong Kong flu. And then guess what? The last couple of years, 5G. You guys, welcome to the world of physics and waveform polluting our environment, which is air, which equals plasma and ether, which all these waves and particles travel through, and that's how we're able to communicate. So basic, simple stuff, stop polluting our environment, and our bodies will really heal. If we lived in an electromagnetic free world from man-made one directionals, I mean, what would that world live like? We haven't seen it for 100 years, like literally. And then they just keep adding it. So no wonder our bodies are adapting and getting sick. They keep polluting our environment.
I know that's what people want. They want the best electronic device that does whatever else better. But like you said, there's so many bad problems with the EMF, more exposure. And I really didn't know about this till we met and looked more into it. It's
a huge topic. And there's
people don't talk about it.
They don't talk about it. There are doctors that do talk about it. Tom Cowan has the contagion myth. He talks about it. Primal resonance. Dr. Stephen Schwartz, doctor of chiropractic, talks about the living collective tissue matrix that our world revolves in. I call it an intelligence matrix. Like everything has a resonance. So the most contagious thing out there is a smile. It's that frequency, that resonance. So that's what we want to really understand. And Eileen McCusick talks about the body battery. It's electric body, electric health. She talks about the body being a body battery, getting that negative charge from below and the positive from above. So there's incredible researchers and doctors that can back this up. And The Invisible Rainbow is probably one of the most referenced books you'll ever see and read on this topic.
Very interesting. And it's a simple remedy.
Get grounded by nature.
Get grounded by nature. Get away from your electronics, or if you're near them, use EMF rocks to help repel that delirious effect from the EMF. Very simple.
Super simple. It's just as simple as nature designed it. It's so intricate, but it's so simple. So when we go back to knowing that we're one with Mother Nature, not above her, not addition to her, like we can start to heal. And we can start to have more vitality and prosperity and abundance than we've ever had before. But we got to get back to those roots, connecting above and getting grounded.
Awesome. No, I mean, simple stuff. I really want, I want to try a little kind of trial with my my help. We're just going to stick them in our pockets. I
love
don't
it.
know if I should tell them what it is. And see
No,
what
please
happens.
do let them know, because you know the cool thing too. What I want to do is there are protocols with this. So if someone if someone's really toxic, they'll sleep crappy, and they'll go, these things don't work. I had the worst night's sleep, and I'm going, well, actually, you're really toxic with EMF. So let's detox you. Do the tapping protocol, and if there's an internal flush, we use bentonite clay, proteolytic enzyme like protease, and then apple cider vinegar. Super simple, subtle flush for EMF. When you use those three together, that'll clear any internal stuff. You do the tapping on the bags, and then with the other hand covering your eyes, teeth, thymus, and large intestine below your belly button, you will start to heal, and then you'll integrate with the crystal. So I want people to really know what they are and have that intent of being grounded, clear their biofield, recharge any areas that are decharged. Then they're going to maximize the benefits from the crystals.
Do instructions come with all the orders, or is there?
Oh, yes.
You just go to the website and you get that information.
Yes, both. We have a pamphlet that comes with it. We have an FAQ, frequently asked questions section on there. And then all these podcasts we do, I have endless of them, do about 15 a month. So we're getting it out there so that we're very accessible, and it's fun because everybody's looking for this. I mean, literally over 20% of our population is EMF sensitivity. And now I think it's even stronger. And I feel I've developed some nerve sensitivity in my fingertips when I was, I'm in my 50s now, but when I was in college, I did an internship at a real estate firm, and they stuck me at the copy machine for weeks on end, copying, dispositions for properties. And I would be pulling paper off the x-ray machine, and my fingertips would burn. That's x-ray. That's ionized radiation. And so from that, and now touching this touch screen of these cell phones, I have nerve sensitivity. I feel that kids using these things for 40 years are going to develop those same nerve sensitivities later on because of all this usage. And then now that they're making these so strong. So we got to go back to mouses or the stylus pens and again, develop buffers with this.
But again, we buy all these devices constantly. My kids always want a new one when it cracks, and they want the better one, but nobody ever talks about the concern of, like you said, these electromagnetic field problems.
Bioinitiative.org. So Dr. Thomas, they took 200 scientists from over 40 countries and established these protocols. Dr. Klinghardt, mold, mycotoxins, parasites all get charged from EMF. Dr. Todd Watts, who has Cellcore brand, great at chelating and detoxing parasites and heavy metals. He talks about candida and fungus being charged by it as well. I mean, there's some incredible studies that these doctors are doing. Dr. Martin Paul discovered that the voltage-gated calcium channels end up opening up, letting positive calcium into a negative cell, in turn causing tremendous cell and DNA damage. That's from that low-level vibration of EMF, even if it's low-level non-ionizing, to those X-ray levels of ionizing radiation. It doesn't matter if there's a thermal effect. There's still a vibration. It's still messing with our life force.
Very interesting. I really have never even looked into this until I knew I was going to talk to you today. It's really interesting, and it's a simple remedy, and you just have to have these rocks near you, either with you, sleep with them, and in your house, and it's so simple. And then when you, honestly, when you use this and you have, people, like you said, do they know in a week's time I'm feeling better, or is it something that takes a long, long time, like a month to get the effect?
Well, I think it depends on how much disease ridden they are.
True.
Someone that's really healthy might not notice a difference. So sleep 3% deeper if they're tracking their sleep. Be like, I slept a little better. But that 3%, when you're at 90%, it's really nominal to tell unless you're tracking it. But if someone's improving 50% and sleeping through the night uninterrupted, really deeper REM, more lucid dreams, they're going to notice it. And then the cumulative effect of having great night's sleeps for months on end, you're going to start to feel a lot better.
Wow, that's great. Well, I appreciate your time. I got to go back to my patients. I'm gonna definitely download some on the podcast. It's so interesting. I want to look more into it, and I'd love to do my own little personal study with my help. To just, we have like 5 or 6 people in a group. I'm just gonna maybe just put them in their pockets, and this is gonna help, and it should make us more efficient, at least happier, don't you think?
I know. Yeah, keep smiling. I mean, that's what it's all about. So, and I use the minis. I put my phone on the outside of it from my pocket, so there's a layer of protection between my body and the phone. Yeah, you'll love them.
So again, if people want to look into this, emfrocks.com. Very simple, right? It's an easy website to remember. All right.
That's
So
it.
Justin, thank you so much for the time. We'll keep in touch. I'm definitely going to put it on our website too about something, if they want to look into something in addition to using CBD, there's no reason why not to use these EMF rocks to help, repel this EMF problems.
Yeah, when you're combining, this is probably the biggest thing with this topic. When you combine and get rid of that stressors, and you have the supplement of a CBD with you for your sleep, you're going to restore and have the deepest sleep ever. It just will just maximize. It's so complementary to CBD. I just love this topic.
Right. All right, good. Let's talk again, Justin.
Thanks, Dr.
again for your time.
Appreciate it.
You too.